Into this video, we're going to be talking about for the first time regarding the Sony A7RV. So this morning I wake up, by the way, I'm here in Denver, Colorado. This is my room and this is going to be my studio for a week. But I open my computer, checking my emails, expecting some emails from my family, nothing out of the ordinary, and I find this email that says Sony A7RV specs and potential release date. Right there, I got pretty excited, and when I read the sender, it happens to be one of our sources from Asia that is leaking new information regarding the Sony A7RV. Now, this is the same source that has been providing a lot of the information that we've been covering here in the channel, and also the source that actually provided the first information regarding the Canon EOS R5, including the price that we were pretty much spot on. So in this video, we're gonna tell you everything we know about the Sony A7RV, what we don't know, and the things that we hope this camera is going to have coming right up. So welcome back to the channel, guys. Get started right here, and if you didn't know, I'm actually giving away a brand new Sony A7C. To enter in this giveaway is super simple. Subscribe to this channel, enable notifications, and go follow me on Instagram and Twitter at GastonShutters. I'm gonna be making the announcement around December 24th or the 25th. So this is gonna be my Christmas gift to you guys. Thank you for being here in the channel, and good luck to all of you. Now let's go right into the news, because the first piece of information that we learned about the Sony A7RV is that this camera is going to have a brand new sensor with a different resolution. So our sources is claiming that we're not gonna have the same 61 megapixel. And when I read that, I started thinking, well, maybe we are gonna have less resolution, because the Sony A7R3 has a 42 megapixel sensor, and I shot with that camera for many years, great result. But when I actually switched to the Sony A7R4 with a 61 megapixel sensor, that camera slowed me down so much because of the super slow buffer. So I'm thinking, well, maybe we're gonna have a 50 megapixel sensor in the R5 version. This is gonna be 5 megapixels more to a piece of Canon EOS R5, and also may improve the capabilities of the buffer of the Sony A7R4. But then I continue reading, and I realized that this camera is going to have also the same dual card slot CF Express Type A that we are gonna find in the Sony A7S III. Now, it makes a lot of sense for that card slot to actually make it to the R5 version, because this is a camera with a lot of resolution. It's a photography camera first, and by having that capability, we're gonna be able to write faster onto the CF Express Type A card. So when I read that, then I'm like, well, maybe the camera is gonna have even more resolution, because Sony has been pumping the resolution. The A7R3 has the 42, the A7R4 has a 61, and there has been a rumor of a camera with 85 megapixel sensor. Now, I hope that Sony doesn't go the route of more megapixel, because the 61 megapixel, the raw files are like about 150, 185 megabytes per raw file. So imagine being 85 megapixel, and we're talking about 200, 250 megabytes per file. So who knows what the resolution is going to be, but we're gonna have a different resolution and sensor. So the next piece of information is that the new Sony A7RV is gonna have the same EVF as the Sony A7S III, which is almost 10 million dots. And the next information that we get with this is that EVF was actually intended to be designed for the R5 version, not for the A7S III. And it makes a lot of sense, because the Sony A7S III is a 12 megapixel sensor. What the hell do you need all that EVF resolution for 12 megapixels? So it makes a lot of sense to think that we're gonna have in this camera the utmost resolution in the sensor. And this may also be an indication that this camera may have even more resolution than the 61 that we have in the Sony A7R4. All right, so moving forward, the other confirmation that we get is that the camera is going to have the same flip out screen, the same vari-angle flip out screen that we can find in the Sony A7S III. So that is actually great news, and we also are confirmed that we're gonna have the same touchscreen capabilities and the brand new menus. Now remember, Sony introduced the first vari-angle flip-out screen in the ZV-1, but the camera doesn't have the new menu or touchscreen capabilities, and also in the Sony A7S III does not have the new menus and doesn't have the touchscreen capabilities. Now, this camera is going to be at around $3,800. This is what we're being told, and remember, the Sony A7R4 is a camera going right now for $3,500, and the Sony A7S III, the video-centric version, is going for $39,000. So chances are that anything above $3,000, Sony is gonna dump all the greatest technology onto the new camera. So new EVF and new flip out screen. That is actually pretty exciting. We also get confirmed that this camera is gonna have more advanced video specs. And we don't know exactly what those specs are going to be. I try to get the information, but we don't have it right now. But chances are that we're gonna have 4K up to 30p 10-bit internal. And remember, now we're gonna be able to record onto those two CF Express Type A cards, and we're not gonna have a problem, doing that 10-bit. Now, we're not gonna have probably the 60p on this camera. This is gonna be saved for the Sony A7S III. Sony is gonna play that very, very carefully, but chances are that we're gonna have much more improved video specs for this camera. And the other information that we got is that this camera is going to be announced around the first quarter of 2021. And our source is telling that before we see this camera, we are going to see around November the Sony A7 IV. Now this one is a much anticipated hybrid shooting camera, and actually I can't wait for that camera because probably it's going to be for a lot of people, everything they need. So A7 IV first, and next year, first quarter, A7R5. So pretty exciting, guys. So this is pretty much what we got from our sources. We are expecting to hear more maybe at the end of the October. So we'll see what this camera is going to be all about, but we are assuming that also we're gonna have a microphone input, of course. We're gonna have headphone jacks. One of the things that we may see in the camera is also the same movie record button that Sony has been rolling out on all the new cameras. The A7S III has it, the ZV-1 has it, and the Sony A7C also has it. Now, when it comes to body, we should expect the same body. We should expect the same NPF-Z100 battery. All the buttons should be probably in the same place. We may not see anything different when it comes to buttons and dial. And this is pretty much it for today, guys. So remember, I'm giving away a Sony A7C. In order to enter, subscribe to this channel, enable notifications, and go follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Gaston Shutter, guys. So this is gonna be it for today, guys. I'll see you in the next video.